Breaking news. Presidential hopeful Kamala Harris just dropped her first video ad, and it's producing some strong reactions.
Trump so panicked he was wiping away sweat with classified documents. It was interesting.
And I'll share the ad in all of its glory in just a minute, but first let's break it down and explore the buzz it's creating as you get a taste of it in this CNN report.
Defining her own campaign, and that is a glimpse of what we're getting this morning from that new campaign video released just moments ago. Take a listen.
There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different.
And Yahoo said this about the ad. The 1-minute video evokes a feeling of triumph and community as shots of black people, members of the LGBTQIA plus community, and other minorities support Harris. VP Harris then lays out her promise to tackle gun violence, health issues, topics on abortion, poverty, and more. And Newsweek also said this about the ad. Harris speaks about various freedoms, including safety from gun violence, the freedom of a woman to get an abortion, the freedom provided by affordable health care and by reducing child poverty, and the freedom provided by having sufficient economic security, not just to get by, but to get ahead. Two things jumped out at me about the ad. First is the use of Donald Trump's legal woes, and Newsweek noticed it too. They said Donald Trump's ongoing legal trouble and status as a convicted felon are front and center in Vice President Kamala Harris's first presidential campaign ad, which features Trump's mugshot, and you'll see the full ad in just a few seconds. I think you're going to see this as a recurring theme in the former prosecutor's campaign strategy, and her supporters got in the act at her first rally in Milwaukee with this spontaneous and ironic chant.
Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
The other thing that struck me about the ad is Beyoncé's song Freedom is the soundtrack. She's the world's most famous recording artist not named Taylor Swift, so her celebrity glow will shine bright. And her song speaks to an America where no one is above the law over images of newspapers over Trump's legal transgressions. And what's the Trump camp reaction to this?
Beyonce is allowing her to use her song Freedom during the campaign. And you can tell Trump is jealous because he just asked Lee Greenwood to learn the single ladies dance.
And can't you just see Donald Trump with an unhinged post that reads something like, Beyonce is a no-talent singer who should get out of politics. And by the way, music has never worked out for her, believe me. And now for the reveal. Kamala Harris's first video ad launched exclusively for social media.
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom.
Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Yeah. Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too.
The freedom not just to get by, but get ahead. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to make decisions about your own body. We choose a future where no child lives in poverty, where we can all afford health care, where no one is above the law. We believe in the promise of America, and we're ready to fight for it. Because when we fight, we win. So join us. Go to KamalaHarris.com and let's get to work.
I'ma keep on running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
And now I want you to contribute to the buzz around the ad with your immediate reaction. Do you want her to keep hitting this drumbeat hard between now and Election Day, or do you want to hear something else? Please comment below while I play the rest of the CNN clip that brings up two interesting questions. Can the Harris campaign spend its massive war chest fast enough to define her message? And has she stolen the media spotlight from Trump and put him on his bone-spurred heels?
While she is on the campaign trail, she is talking about prosecuting the case against former President Donald Trump. But she's also articulating what it is exactly that's at stake at the election. That was something that she was already testing as the running mate to the president. And now she is taking it to a bigger stage as the Democratic candidate and expected Democratic nominee.
Moments ago, Politico released its morning playbook discussing what they call the race to define Kamala Harris, the vice president. Quote, some Democrats we talked to yesterday are starting to worry that the Harris campaign, which has raised some $100 million this week, isn't spending it fast enough to get Harris ads on the air in swing states to tell her story before it's told for her. Now, there is a new video out today. It hasn't been turned into a campaign commercial just yet. But with me now, Tim Hogan, Democratic consultant, former spokesperson for Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, and CNN senior political commentator Scott Jennings. Tim, I do want to start with you because on this issue of defining Harris, it's now Thursday and every day here, things move so quickly. But what more do you think the fledgling Harris campaign needs to do to define her, especially in response to these new attacks from Republicans calling her, dangerously liberal?
Yeah, leave it to Democrats to raise $126 million, best days in Act Blues history, and be worried. But yeah, she needs to get out there. She was out there in Milwaukee at her first campaign rally. She was in Indiana yesterday. I think what she's doing is laying a strong contrast, and you're hearing it everywhere she goes, that this is a campaign between a prosecutor and a convicted felon. This is someone who wants to protect reproductive rights versus someone who cheers that he was able to overturn Roe, and someone who is looking out for the middle class. And someone who has billionaire backers who they just want to give tax cuts to the wealthy for. But it really is about flooding the zone. And I don't think the Trump campaign has a good answer yet either for defining Harris. If you look at Trump's rally, they're sort of throwing the kitchen sink to see what sticks. And I don't think they know what their messaging is going to be going forward.
Interesting you say that, Tim, because in the New York Times today, our friend Maggie Haberman, along with Jonathan Swan, wrote about just that issue. They say, quote, for the first time since Donald J. Trump was indicted in the spring of 2023, he has lost grip on the news cycle, temporarily at least. His message, instead of commanding morning to night media attention, the former president and his allies suddenly find themselves reacting to their opponents, Scott, casting about for messaging. We had days of complaining about the process in the Democratic Party. We had the whole DEI comments, which I think the party establishment is trying to run from as fast as they can. But has Donald Trump been knocked a little off his feet?